There's nothing vested.
I'd rather fail on Uggs.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Some people get like pissed off that they get rejected by Uggs. They're like, you know, it fucks with them. It's like, Jesus Christ, you're an Ugg. You're saying no? What are you an idiot? You know, you have no chance of anyone else. But if you're going to get rejected by an Ugg, you know? Rather than when it gets important, the girl's hot. You know, get all your tools up to speed. When it comes to time bridging, remember, there's two sides to time bridge. So really, you're not trying to get a phone number, you're trying to get the option to see each other again. Okay. And in order for that option to take place, you have to have some sort of venue to share. The venue, that you know, the location that you go to, I've discovered the more mundane it is, the better. If it's a special occasion, you know, if you are going there in order to see her, like go for coffee, then you're going to see her. It's not as good as you're doing something anyway. Right. Now, if you're doing something that happens to be mundane, like for instance, you know, why don't you come over and smoke a hookah? I'm gonna load this thing up. You know, bring a candle because I can't light the charcoal without it. And then they're like, oh, I can't come over. You know, I've got things to do. But you have to come over. I need a fucking candle. I can't light this myself. You know, I need a candle. Bring a candle. And that works. And that gets them coming over. You know, I full Monty 3 girls a couple weeks ago because of that, because of the hookah. You know,
that's another thing that's on the lounge. There's a big definitive post on day 2s. So we get on there, check it out.
Well, time bridging has to be prepared.
Okay.
So think about, you know, what you're going to do. Like, you know, if I travel to a new city, I mean, I went to Chicago. How was I able to pull, you know, 3 girls in 3 days? It was because I knew my time bridge. I knew exactly what I was going to do. I didn't do my time bridge, but I knew my time bridge, you know? Which was, you know, have you gone Christmas shopping yet? Who do you have to go Christmas shopping for? I still have to do this, and this. Where am I supposed to go? Well, you're going to take me to the mall because I have no clue about this city. It was a great way, you know? And then, of course, the next day, I called them up and shoot the shit with them for a bit and say, I'm about to load up my hookah, why don't you come over? Bring a candle. You know, as if I need a favor, I need a candle. And they'd come over. So much better than go for coffee. Okay, A3. What is the name of A3? Male to female interest. Now, the girl already likes you. You already got IOIs. You got some IOIs. Hey, this shit ain't for free, you know. Hands off the merchandise. Wow, she always like this? Next thing you know, she'll start hitting on you. It will happen. Watch it in the field. It's kind of creepy. It's weird how quickly it'll happen. You know? Can I try on your glasses? No, I don't know you from a hole in the wall. Your head's big. You're going to stretch out my glasses. You know, things can only stretch so freaking far before they snap. Shit. So you throw things like that in, and very nice. You know, or they try to grab this. If a girl touches this, watch for it, okay? If they touch it, she's attracted to me. If I'm wearing my big-ass platform boots and she says, hey, I love your boots, I'll respond, no, you don't. You're attracted to me. If I wear this big-ass hat that I sometimes wear out, and she goes, hey, I love your hat, no, you don't. You're attracted to me. Think about it. What if you went up to a girl and looked at her shoes and went, wow, I love your shoes. And she goes, no, you don't. You're attracted to me. And walked off. You've telegraphed your interest. What are you going to go up to an ugly girl and say, hey, I love your shoes? No, you're just an idiot trying to come up with some sort of way of communicating your interest. And you've used shoes as the option, like she's never gotten that before, like I've never gotten the, I like your hat, right? So you already know you have attraction. You can move on. Thanks. What do you got going for you more than your looks? You're very pretty. You have beautiful eyes. Can I touch them? Oh, dirty fingers. Hold on. I'll take care of that. Better? So now you've got indicators of interest from her. You're off into A3. I have a series of, or a sequence of events that takes place over and over again. This is called the bait, hook, reel, release model. How do you know you're off into A3? When you try it and it works. If you try it and it doesn't work, then you're still in A2. You gave it a go. It didn't work. You're not going backwards. It's just you couldn't go forwards. You couldn't do A3 material, so you're still in A2.
In which case, you're still going to neg her, and you're still going to do another another demonstration routine. DHV, demonstration of higher value. Another story you're going to throw in. And then you're going to finally move back into A3 when you have a chance. The main point in A3 is to make her say something that you can give her IOIs for. You're going to encourage her to demonstrate a higher value to you, so you can then indicate your interest to her. Okay? It's literally the mirror opposite of A2. In A2, I'm demonstrating a higher value, and she's IOIing me for them. In A3, she's demonstrating a higher value, and I'm IOIing her for them. Okay? Bait. We're going to bait her. An example of that would be, what nationality are you? What nationality are you? If it hooks, she tells you, German, or whatever. You reel her in. A reel-in is really an IOI. You reel her in with, no way. I love German, or whatever. Okay, oops, Germ. I love German. And then you release. I can't even talk to you now. I'm writing text style. Bait, hook, reel, release, over and over again. What nationality are you? German. No way. Seriously, you're German? Oh my God. Okay, I had this girl in high school I had a crush on. She was German, and I can't even talk to you now. Back turn. I learned this particular method from an exotic dancer I was working. She said, "What do you, what's your occupation? What do you do for a living?" And I said, "I'm a magician, an illusionist. I do stage shows." She goes, "No way. I was a magician's assistant." And I'm like, "Seriously?" And she says, "Yeah. Who's your favorite magician?" I go, "Well, Doug Henning." And she goes, "That's mine too. Doug Henning is so much better than all the other magicians. You know, he's old school, and it was just more natural." And then she's just going off into it. And I'm going, "Oh my God, I love this girl. You know, I feel so qualified." She's like, "I absolutely love magic, and I love magicians. You're a magician. Oh my God, and you're cute too. I can't even talk to you now." Back turned to me, and I was like, "Fuck." And I wanted to win her over because I felt validated. Her IOI to me felt legitimized. It was a legitimate IOI. It wasn't a, "Wow, you're hot." And to a girl, you can't say you're hot because she gets it all the time. But to find, to bait her with something, another one I'll have is, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And don't say princess. "I want to be an opera singer." Seriously, an opera singer? You're teasing, right? No, really? When was the last time you sang? Yesterday. You sang yesterday. You're fucking with me. You sang yesterday. I love opera. Like, what type of opera? Is it the old school stuff? Because I'm not. No, it's like Les Mis. You're in fucking Les Mis? Holy shit, I love you. I can't even talk to you now. You're trouble for me. This is bad news. This is totally. I've revealed all my cards. Back turn. Release. You have to release it. If you're going to do an IOI, it's going to make her feel uncomfortable as you do a kino, as you kino escalate, as you give her indicators of interest. So you have to give the kino escalation, do the indicator of interest, and then take it away. Wait for her to come to you. And I just shut up, turn my back, and they'll say, "So, where are you from?" And I'm like, next. And I'm back in, right? And I can move in. A3 is in many ways a false qualifying. We want her to qualify herself to us, and we reward her for it. Now, a lot of people think that that's a time for, really qualifying her. It is my contention that you're not going to qualify her for real in 5 fucking minutes. If she's into Britney Spears and you're not going to say no to her. She's a hot girl. You can introduce her to your type of music preferences later if she's your girlfriend. Don't use this as your opportunity, hey, she's got 5 minutes. And if she says she believes in something you don't believe, then get rid of her. Don't do that. The girl said, "Do you believe in God?" And I went, "Well, if you mean by the patriarchal God, then no. But is something happening here? Look around. Something big is happening here." So I'm just you know, I'm a very scientific-minded person, so I've got a great deal of skepticism toward the supernatural, considering I can move objects with the power of my mind, read people's minds, bend metal, predict the future. You haven't seen any of this stuff because I'm not going to put it off into a workshop. But these are interesting topics, okay? And yesterday I think was compelling evidence to support that I can still get girls without any magic. You can swap out a magic trick and swap in a story. It does the same fucking thing, you know? As long as I'm doing my Kino escalation, as long as I'm doing my negs, you know, and that's what progresses it. It doesn't matter what story or routine you use. Point is, some material can be used in several different phases. And it really can make or break. Without it, without A3, you can get instant buyer's remorse. You won't get next day buyer's remorse, where if you go into comfort and then go straight to seduction too fast, then your comfort escalation, Kino escalation is too fast, you'll get next day buyer's remorse. But you get instant buyer's remorse, where the girl feels validated by you, you know, because you're in comfort, you start hitting on her, you're arm in arm with her, and she didn't have to do anything. You don't even know her. You didn't make her talk to you about herself. You didn't force her to say something about herself so that you could get to know her and like her for more than just her looks. So the minute that she likes you and then you start giving her IOIs because she gave you IOIs, it's not enough. She'll feel validated. You know, she won you over just like she does every guy. And now you can leave. And that happened way too many times, so you need A3. I only do about 3 minutes of it. Really, it should be 7 to 10 minutes, I think. However much is needed, but also however much time you think you have. Because, like, let's say they're at a restaurant and they're sitting down, and I've got about 8 minutes between they've just ordered their food, they have their drinks, they ordered their food. I've got like 8 minutes before the food arrives, 8 to 10 minutes, right? So I've got a certain amount of time. So I know that I'm going to have to compress my entire game to a 10-minute period, or at least compress it all the way until they eat. And then when they're done eating, I know I've got another 3 or 4 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes there at the end for their dessert. But most people don't pick dessert. And when they get the check, they pay and go. Right? Or when they're paying, I can't be there. So right when they're finished eating, and the waiter comes back, would you like anything else? They say, oh, just the bill. Then I can go in and I've got a few more minutes there to finish up and get my time bridge built. Or bounce them. Bounce the whole group, if necessary. Before I go off into A3, I forgot to mention, there is an all-important question that I have to ask. Which goes, so, how do y'all know each other? I have to ask this. How do y'all know each other? So, how do y'all know each other? I have to ask it. Every single set that you're ever going to approach, if you get as far as A3, which shouldn't be too much of a problem, it's 5 minutes in, 3 to 5 minutes in, you're going to be saying, so how do y'all know each other? You know, you have to ask it because you don't know who the boyfriend or the brother is. It's a necessary element in this game. You have to throw that in. Now, what happens if you go into a 2 set and you say, so how do y'all know each other? And the guy says, oh, this is my wife. I'm not going to quit there. I'll go one step further. How long have you been married? And I'll say that to her. Or if the guy says, you know, this is my girlfriend, I'll turn to her and say, how long have you been married? I'm not married. I thought this is your... No, I don't know him at all. Oh, you're not a boyfriend. You're just trying to get in. Good for you, man. It's good. I've just blown him out by doing that. Now I can work the girl. For him lying to me, I'm going to steal his girl. Nothing personal. That's fair, isn't it? You're lying to me.
I think you take a girl out in the public.
Exactly. Don't take. Exactly. Exactly. Don't take your girl out to a public gathering where she can be hit on mercilessly, unless you're going to hold her hand and put your arm around her and make sure that she's yours. You know, show everybody that she's yours. Make sure that she shows it too to you. If you don't have that type of relationship with her, do not take her out into a public gathering. So bait, hook, reel, release. Bait, hook, reel, release. I'll do this several times. The idea is to encourage her to say something to me. I've got routines, entire routines. I'm going to teach you tomorrow. One is called the music game, where I say a song that I like and make her reply. We go back and forth, and every time she replies, I get to either give her an indicator of interest or an indicator of disinterest. And it escalates until, oh my God, you listen to this? I mean, you and I are so fucking similar, it's ridiculous. I can't even talk to you now. That's what happens in A3. The main point is I encourage her, I bait her to demonstrate a higher value, to say something. I have entire routines that make her, encourage her to say stuff to me so that I can find specific areas to indicate my interest to her for. It's really the art of the compliment. I want to compliment a girl that I'm attracted to, but not until she's first attracted to me and I too. Most guys' failures, they begin in A3. They go in, oh no, not A3, they begin building compliments. They begin in reeling them in. They try to reel them in immediately. They walk up and say, wow, you're absolutely beautiful. She's like, thank you. You know, loser. These girls are hot. They get it all the time. You can't begin here. That's why we want to have the opportunity to bait them in. Now, if I say, what nationality are you? Or if I say, what do you want to be when you grow up? Or another bait would be, name 3 things off the top of your head that would make me want to get to know you more. And if you lie, your friend will tell me. If she says, I don't want to talk about it, well, then you're not in A3 yet. You gave it a go. It didn't bite. You're still in A2. In which case, I'm going to neg her by saying, you know what? I was just being polite. I really wasn't that interested. Nothing personal. And I'm ready for that contingency because it may happen, okay? And that's a sound bite, like an actual, you know, there's only so many things you can say. These are sound bites. You may not be writing them down right now, but trust me, tomorrow, you're going to be vigorously writing down all these little one-liners and stressing to remember them. Moving your target or the whole group happens sometime in A3, okay? Anytime in A3. The reason why it'll work anytime in A3 is because anytime after A2, she's already attracted to you and wants to redeem herself. Because you're basically putting her down, putting her down, putting her down, befriending everybody by putting her down, disarming everybody by putting her down, lowering her self-esteem and then saying, so how do you all know each other? That's the first waypoint. And then at some point you're going to say, and this is another sound bite, I've been alienating your kind of creepy friend here. Is it okay if I talk to her for a couple minutes? Here, grab this. I'm going to show you something really cool if you're a good girl. Come with me. We'll be over here. Just come join us if you want to. We'll keep a seat waiting for you guys. By saying that, it makes them feel more comfortable. Oh, they can join at any time. Yeah, come join us in a bit. Now you take the girl and you do a handhold. I'm doing a Kino test. Every single time I make a move on her, I'm testing, I'm calibrating to see whether she's going to accept the move or not. If she doesn't accept the move, I'll throw the hand off. That's it. Keep moving. That's Kino escalation. It's very continuously calibrated. Every move that I make, if I hear, give me your hand, I want to find out where I'm at. Is she holding my hand tight? I'm going to let go. But as I let go, does her hand pull away quick? Or does she keep it there and are we finger holding? And I'm leading her now through the crowd, holding her hand, and it's on. If it feels good, we're holding like this and like this, I'll open my hand again. Does it stay? Good. And then we'll do one of these things. And now I'm holding the hand like this, walking, and isolate. As I sit down, I know that I've got her. She's interested. Now I'll sit down, and when I sit down, I'll sit 2 feet from her, make it less comfortable for her, and wait, because I know that she's going to reinitiate the chat. Before I even bother showing her, telling her what I was going to show her, I'll just sit there, and she'll and make her work, basically. Make her initiate reinitiate the conversation. Whenever I put a pregnant pause in, for the girl, it's an awkward pause. For me, it's a specifically placed pregnant pause. If she reinitiates the chat with me, that's an indicator of interest, and I feel like I'm in control then. Grab a seat with her. She's over here, and I'll just sit and wait. So she'll say, so, where are you from? And I'll tell you all about that in a sec. Before I show you what I'm going to show you, I'm just curious about you. I mean, I got to know your friends, and they're all cool. First impression of you kind of sucked. Now that I get to know you, there's something, I'm curious about you. There's something neat about you. What do you got going for you more than your looks? And I'm off into A3. So I've done my move, sat down into A3. Now notice that I'm dangling something in front of her to make her go through A3. I do this all the time. She comes into, sits down with me. We're in my C1 location because I'm about to go into my C1 phase, so I'm ready to go. Okay? I do my A3 stuff, but I need to pull her through A3, bait, hook, reel, release. I'm structuring hoops for her to jump through in A3. I'm I'm baiting her to take the time to demonstrate a higher value to me. Sometimes they won't jump through, so I have to, put the dangling carrot in front, put a little piece of wiener hanging here so that the cat will jump through the hoop, off into C1. So I will say, I'm going to show you something really cool. But before I do, what do you got going for you more than your looks? That's an actual soundbite that I use all the time. I'm going to show you something really cool. But before I do, what do you got going for you more than your looks? And that's right near the beginning of my A3, after I've done a move or an isolation. Now I'm off. Now I've done that several times. I'm off into C1. Now it looks like she's gaming me. Now, you and I don't feel the difference. It looks a little different, but we don't really feel the difference. For a woman, though, any other woman in this room will feel more attraction for me if a girl is gaming me than if I'm gaming a girl. Now, why is that? It's because women are going to be attracted to a male who is attractive to other females. That's how that works. It's the boy band principle, right? Think of Backstreet Boys. The very first time that they did a video, they had a bunch of girls chasing them in that video. Well, how is that possible? It's their first fucking video. It's the boy band principle, and it works.
Another really good attraction mechanism is pre-selection. So it's the old experiment where, they have this male grouse, and the females aren't mating with it that much. Then they take a stuffed female and put it next to the male, and suddenly he gets laid more. All the other females are coming around. Why? Because he's been pre-selected by another female. It's sort of lazy. They don't really evaluate the guy for themselves, but other girls are into him, so he has value. Okay? If you go out by yourself, you can open sets and you can run sets if you're good. If you go out with a female pivot, sets will blow open. Sets of girls will blow open when you go in with your pivot, and it's a lot easier to open the set. If you go out with 2 female pivots, they will come and open you. You'll be sitting there. Yeah, definitely. And then the bold ones will come in. They will come in and introduce themselves and try to get in on your set when you got your 2 girls. It's not logical, and it's definitely not what you would hear in the popular culture, but girls are far more attracted to guys who have other girls. And they may not even admit it. They may not even logically believe it, but we're talking about behavior which is mostly governed unconsciously anyway, and that's how people behave.
It's anything that you can give her an IOI for. You're the leader of your group, aren't you? Yeah, I can tell. I like that about you. It's really attractive. This is a whole routine, this little piece here, okay? To say, when she's talking to you, you know what, you better go run along and make some money before you piss your boss off. Oh, wait a sec, you're your own boss, right? Because they're freelance. So then by sitting here and talking to me, you're exercising your freedom to be your own boss. I like that. That's really powerful. That just bought you 3 more minutes for her to figure out that she's the boss. She should be making money. She didn't come to chat, but it makes her feel good for shutting up and talking to you, for not working and talking to you instead. Which I really love. Nice little bit. And you're rewarding her. You're giving her an indicator of interest for something that she has demonstrated just by not saying a word. That's a nice, A3 routine. Good for strippers, especially. Demonstrations of higher value. I think when you saw me, just talking to you guys, and I'm moving big like this, one girl walked by and was kind of eyeing me. It happened because I'm talking to a group of guys. She may also have seen me with girls. When I was in that set with all those girls around me, didn't I look cool? I'm not saying me, but anybody, any one of you who would have been put in that position where you can just keep them interested for that long, and hands on, hands off, holding hands and all this stuff, for one, I was having a blast, but 2, it looks really cool. To add to it, all you guys were just quietly, a bunch of guys were quietly all surrounded in the back, right? That was a huge set for me. And I'm just leaned back, taking it all. All it takes is for any of those other women in that room to see I'm that guy. I'm not the observing, I'm the observed. You're either one of these 2 people. 300 people come into a room, they're going to hang out all day long waiting for someone else to do something. Are they going to sit back and watch? Or are they going to be one of those points of interest that unfold in that club? 2 hot girls come in, that's a point of interest alone, just for them being hot and dolled up. Two girls making out, that's an interesting thing, right? This guy having body shots over there with a girl, this girl and guy over here is making out. Photos are taking place over here. Hey, can you take my picture? Right? Never grab the girl's camera and take a picture of them. It lowers your value. You become one of those losers that they just tool. You have to do, they say, can you take a picture? I'm like, no, please. I'd rather be an asshole about it. They can go, you're an asshole. I am, but I'm fun. Go get yourself a lackey. I'm just not going to, pull that off, because otherwise I'm taking pictures of them. They're like, thanks. Where am I going to go with that? Oh, by the way, did you? It's chunky. It's false. What else do we have here? Okay, DHVs. So leading the men, leading the women. How do you lead the men and the women? Stories. The stories can be non sequitur. They could be just information. How many 9s between 1 and 100? It's one example of a routine you can throw in. Some routines have to be asexual. There has to be no sexuality in it, because you'll be telling these stories to guys. While I speak to you, my target can still hear what I have to say, thereby conveying high value without appearing like I'm bragging. That's important, because if I start going, hey, where I'm from Hollywood, where are you from? This is going to sound like bragging. But if I'm talking to one of the obstacles and I'm shooting negs at the target, disarming the obstacle, making sure that no one thinks that I'm potentially after her, I have shut her down from giving me potential protection shield stuff, like boyfriend stuff, boyfriend objections. She's going to say, oh, I have a boyfriend. She will never say that she has a boyfriend to me if I say, okay, hands off. Wait your turn. Jesus Christ, where's her off button? By saying that, she's not going to give me any boyfriend objections. I have not triggered her protection shield. And now that I've thrown the neg, I've also disqualified myself from being a potential suitor from the eyes of the obstacles, so they don't feel threatened by my presence. Now I can demonstrate a higher value by sequencing a series of interesting stories.
Okay, a DLV is a demonstration of lower value, but these DLVs are actually DHVs. Okay? So, for example, let's say that I'm talking to some girls and I say, yeah, I feel like I'm getting so fat lately. Okay? That's a DLV. I'm demonstrating lower value by saying that I'm fat. But it's really a DHV, because what I've really communicated to her is, I'm not trying to impress you at all. It's like a neg. Right? When you neg, like the quintessential neg is where you go into set and you blow your nose. Okay? I'm not insulting her. I'm not trying to make her feel bad. But I have just very definitively given her the feeling that I'm not trying to impress her. So that's what a neg is. So a DLV is very similar to that. If I say, damn, I feel like I'm getting so fat, I haven't insulted her, I haven't made her feel bad or made her think that I'm trying to make her feel bad. But she knows I'm not trying to impress her. Well, she will honestly believe that I'm not trying to impress her. So that's what a DLV is. It's basically a false disqualifier that works like a neg.
Some people have demonstrations of lower value when a girl says, so what do you do? And you say, I'm an ass model. And you're like, no, really, what do you do? I work at Taco Bell. Really, what do you do? Well, I don't know you well enough. Well, guess what? You just lost it. You demonstrated lower value because you hesitated and you didn't get to answering it properly. And the answer that you had didn't convey high value. It conveyed nothing. It's like a bunch of jokes. One joke is funny. 2 jokes, not so much. 3 jokes, now you're hiding something. Nice meeting you. Goodbye. Examples of attraction locations. Again, could be a mall, club, could be the street. But what will you notice about the mall, the club, and the street? Not very good at building comfort, are they? That's why they're attraction locations. But what's good about them is a lot of people, a lot of opportunities for interaction. Also, a mall, you can find hired guns. A club, you can find hired guns. A street, you can't. Streets, I don't like streets, personally. It takes way too long to find your sets. But, still a place. You're going to be out there anyway. And you can embed these DHV spikes, demonstration of higher value spikes, right into a story. Let's say a story begins here, time travels 3 minutes long, and it ends here. 3-minute long routine. You want to add these DHV spikes, no DLV spikes going down, little pits, demonstrations of lower value. You want DHV spikes. What is a DHV spike? What's an example? I'll give you an example story, starting now. My last girlfriend up in Toronto before I moved to Hollywood, and then to Vegas, was an exotic dancer. Don't be a hater. And she calls me. She's frantic, calling me, saying, baby, baby, oh my God, some of my customers, they're chasing me. They're following me home, and I don't want them to know where I live. I'm trying to lose them. What do I do? I'm like, well, babe, okay, calm down. Stay on the line. First off, don't try to lose them, because you're only going to run into another car or something, a parked car. Relax, chill out. As long as you know they're behind you, you're safe. All right? You don't have to drive home just yet. Stay on the line. Now, she had called me I had done a performance. I'm an illusionist, and I did a performance at one of those high-capacity clubs. It's called the Government in Toronto. And I know the owner. He's a friend of mine. So he and some of my friends, my good, close, loyal friends, were backstage with me. And we're kind of created our own little private VIP thing going on. And I get this call. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I got to split, which sucked, right? But, hey, she's my girlfriend. I got to roll. So my friends, I also feel fortunate that I've got the loyalty. I've got loyal friends. And the loyalty is such that if I say, guys, we got to roll, they don't fucking question it. We just roll. And in return, if they said that to me, I'd roll. We don't question it because, they've done a lot of good for me. I've done a lot of good for them. We trust each other, So I said, guys, we got to roll. Got a problem. No questions asked. We hop in the car. We're on our way. I'm keeping her calm on the phone, okay? And here's what happened. Let's pretend this here, that's my car, and I'm driving along the road here, okay? We come to a four-way stop. Her car's here, drives here, okay? Another car, the car in question, is behind her. He doesn't know that I'm here. I mean, she's driving a Camaro, right? And she just paid it off in cash. It's a new Camaro, beautiful car. And it's got tinted windows, so I guess they can't tell that, she's on the fucking phone with her boyfriend. Are these guys idiots? Do they think that she doesn't have friends? She's not aligned? So they come up behind her, and she's like, oh, I see you, baby, you're right there. Just then, they bump into her. They actually drive up laughing, and they bump, and she sails off a little ways in, and I'm like, babe, just drive through, drive through, drive through. And I'm like, you're fine, just drive through. I'll take care of this. And as they started chasing her, and they were like, ah, ha, ha. They reminded me, I shit you not, they reminded me of Biff Tannen from Back to the Future. You know those guys? It's fucking Biff Tannen, So I just snapped, and I just went, fuck this, and I just careened into the back, and they spun out more than 360. What is that? It was huge, right? We got out of the car. I walked over, and I had this piece of pipe from the rigging of one of my stage set things. And it was in the back of the car. It was a broken piece that we had to replace. So I had that with me, and my boys rolled. And one of them, his name's Talman. He's a really good buddy of mine. He's also second degree Dan black belt in what is it? Taekwondo. He takes Taekwondo. And I know Kempo Tai. So I was like, I snapped. So I walked out over to the car, and I smashed the front end. Walked to the side, smashed it in, and they're just stunned. Walked to the back, smashed it in, smashed one of the taillights in, came up to the driver's side, looked in, smashed it in, and waited forever for the guy to finally, turn around with glass all over him. And I said, dude, fucking leave. And he's, car surrounded with my 3 other buddies. And he just started the car, and he drove off. Now, I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. I'm just saying that's what I did. End of story. Where's the DHV spikes? Nope. Of all the things. One, she's an exotic dancer. I come pre-selected. It's a story about a girl. It's a story about me saving a girl. Right? It's a story about my friends rolling with me. And putting themselves in a compromising situation because I must have some legitimate survival value for them to do so. They're investing for a reason. The fact that I delivered the goods. If I tell this story, that, not only that, but there I am, I'm backstage hanging with the owner of the club. And, he's one of my friends. And I was on stage. It was a high-capacity club. It all paints a picture. every time I say one of these things, it's a DHV spike. Is I'm not out to make 1,000,001 mysteries. You will adapt this material to fit your real life. Okay?
Third person to tell her too.
What's that? Exactly. You're third person to come by saying, my 14-year-old niece, I'm like, okay, this is not what we want. It's not word for word. It's concept for concept. That's how our brains memorize things anyway. We don't have to remember the word for word stories. Just the concept for concept stories. You know, this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And our brains remember sequences of events. You know, it works through visual association. So you have to adapt these to fit your own lives. But I'll tell you this routine in case you haven't heard it yet, because it's my opportunity to test it out one more time. And this is how a new story gets developed. You tell a story to a friend of yours. You're on the phone. You tell a story. And it was like, that was funny. So what do? You write the title of that story down on your cheat sheet. Everyone should ultimately have a cheat sheet. And this cheat sheet could be as little as this. Just little one-liner, you know, little notes of the different routines that you want to throw in. Some of them will be new. Some of them will be tried and true. Why do you have a cheat sheet? Because sometimes your brain goes fucking blank. And you got it in your pocket like this. How do you get to it? This is how. And you're in the middle of a conversation, and it dies down. You don't know where to go, and you just go. That reminds me. And you continue. It's a joke, but you get to it. Another way you can do it is text it to yourself on your cell phone. Very convenient way, because you can be in the middle of a conversation and you take your cell phone out and you open it up, you know, and you continue talking, finish up your story, and now you've got your next one queued up. Also, it's great, especially when you're trying new material out. Maybe you've read it online, you want to throw it in, or a story that you've told a friend before. Now you can get good at it. So here's the story that I use. My niece just turned 14 years old, and she's the New Year's baby. She was born on January 1st, for like 7 in the morning, up in Toronto. And she called me up after her birthday. I just, got this call a little bit back, and she says to me that she was with a boy. And I went, "You were with a boy? What do you mean you were with a boy?" And she goes, "Well, I'm like, "No, I don't know. What do you mean? You had sex with a boy? You just turned 14 years old." And she goes, No, I didn't have sex, but I was with a boy. And I said, what, like second base? And she goes, well, what's second base? And I'm like, that's a good point. I don't know. What is second base? What is that? She goes, well, I don't know what second base is, but I think the answer is yes. I went, oh, that's the last thing I want to hear. You're my niece. I love you. Happy birthday. Did you have fun? Did you have fun on your birthday? And she goes, oh, my God, yes. And I was like, I don't want to hear that. She's boy hungry. I mean, my entire family, my sister, like we all have a high sex drive. I'm not going to apologize for it. My sister was notorious for having a high sex drive. She has 2 children. And already the kids have a high sex drive, They're boy crazy. It's ridiculous, I mean, ultimately, the reason why I don't apologize for it is because, when I get married and I have children, my wife is going to want my children, when they grow up, to be beautiful children with high sex drives so they can give us lots of grandchildren. And that's my story. Thank you. Isn't it sweet? It's fun? It's a nice little lighthearted throw-in at the beginning.
Good stuff, communication.
Yep. Yep, I threw in the high sex drive piece. Also that I don't want to hear that my niece is, I don't want to hear. I'm being enthusiastic about it. And I'm not talking about the present tense. We're not. Her imagination is not going to, hey, nice shoes, where are you from? A nice place you have here. Can I buy you a beer? None of it is here. I'm bringing her to what happened. I'm on the phone, my niece, how my sister has a high sex drive. I mean, it just goes off. And I'm able to convey my personality, and within that story, see, a piece of material is like a vehicle which rides to the, to the target, and I get to embed within that material specific key characteristics that get conveyed to her. Now, in order to get a woman interested in you, you have to be interesting. So a comedian, the way he'll be funny is he'll tell one joke, and you'll say, wow, that's funny. But if he strings 10 in a row, you'll say he's funny. It's no longer the material that gets the acclaim, but it's the man himself who gets the acclaim. So similarly, again, if you want to get a woman interested in you, you have to be interesting. So if you say one interesting fact, has nothing to do with sexuality, nothing to do with attraction, nothing to do with seduction, nothing to do with the pickup. It's just a non sequitur interesting fact. If you say one interesting fact, for instance, you could say, you know, how many 9s exist between 1 and 100? How many? What do you think? How many 9s exist between 1 and 100? Yeah, I'll give you a hint. More than 1. More than 3. 10? Is that your answer? Nope. Do you know it? 9? This isn't multiple choice, you know. Oh my God. I know it's mathematics. It's quite difficult, you know, but it's called counting. It's just the basic of it. 13, 14, multiple choice again. It's actually 20. Where is it? 9, 19, 29, 39, 49, 59, 69, 79, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, and 99 is 2 of them. That's like 20% right there. 1 in 5 is the number 9. Isn't that weird? Okay, it's a little bullshit baffles brains at the end. Really screws the people, and if you fell for that, well then, you fall for a lot. It's a nice little test for me. Nonetheless, when I say this, little how many 9s between 1 and 100 in a set, it makes me interesting. Non-threatening. I'm not after her. I'm not trying to hit on the girl. I'm not making any reference to her beauty. I'm not trying to, brag. It's just interesting. You say one interesting thing, they'll say, wow, that's interesting. But you say 10 in a row, and she'll say, you're interesting. And it's no longer the material that gets the acclaim, but the man himself. It's a nice way of getting a woman interested in you enough to want to get to know you. She'll start asking you questions like, what's your name? Now we're on our way. Do not take a sandwich to a banquet. This guy is not thinking straight, you know. It's like taking a girl to the scene of the crime. If you pick a girl up at a club, do not take her to another club on a day 2 unless you're just pivoting her. Okay? A pivot is, a pawn is a girl that you use that night to build some social proof, and you can pawn her off. Okay, hands off, in order to get a hotter girl. But a pivot is where you meet a girl one night, and she assists you in attracting other women the next night. So if, like, we met girls yesterday, got numbers, and invited them out tonight, they would be pivots. See, the problem with a pivot is you're not going to generally lay your pivot, because bringing them out to public scene again and having her watch you interact with people is counterproductive to getting her. But it really rips open sets, so that's something that you're going to want to work on. Basic group theory is you approach a 3-set. Advanced group theory is you approach a set and you merge forwards and backwards. You should be doing that by day 3. It's normal. Okay? It's not like, well, we're going to start at basic. Yes, start at basic, start to open sets, but as soon as a set opens, don't just get good at opening sets. Get good at opening sets and merging. Once you get a lock-in, you can start moving. You can move once. Let me introduce you to some friends of mine. Get them forward merging. Get them backwards merging. Introduce them to other people. All right? Introduce them to the friends you came with, and talk them up. It's a part of the game. That's a part of your structure, okay? Write it down into a part of your structure. Where are you going to do that? In C1. I could be like 8 minutes in. We're getting along great. Let me introduce you to some good friends of mine. Come on, here, come join me. That's all you get for now. Come on. And you can walk around the room looking for your friends. You got a girl in your arm. Social proof in the whole room. And then at the end of that, you can say, I can't find him. Why? Because you came alone. But she doesn't know that. So you went for a little walk to look for your friends. Your friends are in here somewhere. I can't find them. I'll call them. No worries. I'm with you right now. Take good care of me. And everything's fine.
Has anyone ever heard the expression, the map is not the territory? NLP expression. It comes from NLP. Basically, the idea is that everyone operates based on their own map of reality. So as I'm interacting with you right now, I have visual data coming in through my eyes, audio data into my ears, etc. And it's creating this sort of ongoing experience of reality. And not only that, but my map is also composed of my belief system, my memories, my experiences that I've had in the past. And it all goes to create my perception of what I think reality really is. And that's what I act on. I don't act on a reality as it objectively exists. I act upon my map of reality as I perceive that it exists. And different people have different maps. The map is not the territory. So when you have two people come together and interact, this is really two different maps sort of colliding and interacting. They may have a lot in common. They may not. They may have certain things in common. And there's a rule of thumb that says that the stronger frame absorbs the weaker one. What's important here isn't whether any of those belief systems are true or false, because they're all different. What's important is that you have the situation where someone with a weak sense of reality is with someone who has a strong sense of reality, and he gets absorbed into that. He gets pulled into that. So the person had a stronger frame. So whenever two people are interacting, there are always these frame control games going on socially. People are always trying to sort of test your frame a little. They're trying to take over your frame, or they're just having a really strong frame and sucking people into it. This is really important for social interactions. Girls will definitely test you for your strength of your frame. And they will not end up with a guy who has a weak frame, unless they're ready to get married and they want someone they can control. If they want someone they can control, then they'll look for whatever they want to look for. But when you're just talking about pure, raw sexual attraction, women are attracted to men who have a stronger frame than they do, and they will test you. So have you ever had a situation where a woman asked you to do something and you did it, and then she wasn't interested in you after that? She was testing your frame to see if she could tool you. You know, oh, I'll be right back. Can you wash my purse? We have to go to the bathroom. Wait right here. I'm thirsty. Can you buy me a drink? It's not, and a lot of times the guy gets suckered into it because he's trying to be nice. He's like, oh, well, she's thirsty. I'll buy her a drink. I want to show her that I'm a nice guy, that I'll take care of her, that I'll be cool, that I'm.
Hey, wouldn't it be amazing if instead of getting her number, you can see her again? It's what we call a time bridge. That's the other type, or TB. It's the other type of jump. A time bridge is a phase, similar to getting a phone number, only let's say this is your timeline. I'm with her, all the way to sex, okay? Let's say I meet her, I'm with her, but guess what? I can't be with her anymore because she's, it's late, she's got to go home. And she's not going to come home with you tonight. She's with her friends. Technical challenge. What I have to do is I have to bridge the river of time that's separating us so I can get back onto seeing her and continue on. Notice that this time bridge has two sides to it. I'm bridging time to see her again, and I can continue being with her. If you get a phone number, I'll call you sometime. That's a stairway to heaven. There's no other side to it. You're hoping that you'll be able to convince her on the phone to see you again. You do not want to do these type of things on the phone. All right? When you're with her, you solidify the other side of the time bridge. But numbers are nothing, They really are nothing. They're wood. You have to actually see them again for it to be a proper time bridge. Otherwise, it's just a stairway to heaven. It's wishful thinking. It's a hope, Don't get too hyped up on these things because you're going to get some flaky.
Noticing in a place like Vegas, it's so transient that it's challenging to see them again.
Truth is, you want to push for the bounce way more than a time bridge. And in all these sets, I could have bounced. I really feel strongly that I could have bounced, And all you have to, where do you bounce? You bounce to a lounge. You bounce to, hey, let's smoke a hookah back at the hotel, You can say, I've got some, what's your poison? I got some of the, we'll pick some up and head back to the hotel. Let's go for a jacuzzi. Tons of different things that you can do here, Just bouncing anywhere. I'm hungry. Come with me. We'll just go for 10 minutes. I'm going to grab a bite. We'll come back. You never have to come back. The neat thing about bounces is that what you say you do and what you actually do can be two totally different things. I'll give you a quick example. In Toronto, what I would do is, in order to get a girl to my house, I would invite her over to a place called the Green Room. I would say, have you ever had, what was this, hot apple cider? You ever had hot apple cider? I absolutely love hot apple cider. And there's this one particular place right behind the Poor Alex Theater. It's called the Green Room. It's the Green Room of the Poor Alex Theater. And it's kind of hard to get to, but they serve hot apple cider, and you know, in Toronto in the wintertime, it's so cozy in there, and it's got this student vibe to it somehow, and it's very eclectic, and I like it. It's really nearby where I live, so we're going there, and it's hard to get to, so just buzz me down. Like, I'm easy to get to. Go to the front door, buzz me down. I'll come down from my apartment, and we'll go together. Well, when they get there, they buzz me. I'm like, oh shit, I'm on the phone. Apartment 2. And I buzz her in. So she's like, okay, let's go upstairs. You know, she comes upstairs, knocks on the door, opens the door, and I'm, you know, with my shirt off saying, I'm sorry I'm late, I'll be with you in a sec, yeah. And I'm talking to a phone, on the phone with nobody. Yeah, hold on. Okay, talk to you later, bye, click. Yeah, let me just get ready quick, here. And I walk into my bedroom with the blinds open, the windows open, so she could hear the street. It's a comfort building right now, okay? You know, if she came in and there's music playing, and there's candles and incense, not good, because that's all seduction setup, right? That's a seduction scenario, and I want her to assist in building the seduction scenario. We'll get to seduction tomorrow. So I'll sit her down on the bed, put my laptop in front of her. It's just, you know, right beside the bed, and say, here, watch this little video clip. And it's a little 10-minute home movie that I made, and I have 5 of them now, called What the Fuck. It's a What the Fuck episode. I've got 5 of them, and I've got like 3 more to be almost completed, and they're half edited right now. I just haven't had time to finish. So I want to make an online little website thing just for my home movies, right? And so I put one on as I finish up getting ready. And now, depending, I'll come and sit beside her and watch with her. I'll scratch her back. If she feels uncomfortable, I'll say to her after the show's done, I'll say, okay, I'm hungry. Come on, let's go. And we'll leave. But if I feel like we don't have to leave, if it's already further along, I'm scratching her back, and I go scratch my back, and she does. She's scratching my back now. God, baby, this is so good. I love this. And we're watching. I'll put on a second one. I'll put on a third one. I'll put on some fucking Chris Rock. We'll hang out in my bedroom. Take her shoes off. She does? Good. Otherwise, I'll be like, keep your shoes on. We're taking off soon. All based on her comfort levels. Right? How do I know where her comfort levels lie? Kino escalation. Every time I do an escalation, I'm testing to see if she's accepting it. Have you ever seen the Hollywood sign? Well, now that's what we're doing on Thursday. I'm heading up there with friends to see the Hollywood sign, and you're coming up with me. Now, I did do this before. I came up. I just want to bring my friends with me this time and show them. It takes like 40 minutes. You got to like climb over a fence and go up, and there will be a perimeter warning sign or a ranger automated response saying, "Turn back now. The ranger has been sighted." Like, I mean, it's crazy. But what are you going to do? You're 10 minutes from the fucking sign. You just walk 30 minutes up the hill. You know, you're going to turn back now? Please. It's not like I've got, you know, paint cans on me. I'm not going to turn it into Holly Weird, you know, Holly Mystery. So I went up there, and what's amazing up there is you get a glimpse of Hollywood all in one eyeful. And it makes you look at what you have to do here in Hollywood a whole new way. You know, if let's say you're an actress and you want to be famous, everyone that you respect in Hollywood, you can see everyone that you have to win over and seduce. Every studio, every movie that's going to be made with you in it happens here. And until you're up there and you rub that sign for good luck and you look down and you see what I have before me and the puzzle that I have to solve, until you see that, you won't get it. So I'm going up on Thursday and you're coming with me. Now that's a nice way of time bridging. The secret to Kino escalation is not making the move forward. It's in taking away a move. And that's something that you had to learn yesterday. You just made the next move, the next move, the next move. What ended up happening, but first off, like I congratulated the guy for going in. You know, while we were all, you know, sitting back watching him, he's in a fucking 2-set, and he entertained them for close to 10 fucking minutes. You know? It was all maneuvering, though, and what should have happened for next time is you go in, you make your move, and you do your body takeaways and stuff. You can push them and go, oh, you're such a little shit. You basically played A3 game for way too long. You did 8 minutes of A2 game. You played A2 way too long. You were doing all the traction stuff. Neg, 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 neg. Talk, talk, talk. Neg, neg, neg. Trying to kino escalation. It always just got all mumbled. Jumbled. Mumbled and jumbled. What should have happened is you should have just piqued her interest enough and then leaned the fuck back and went, so, who are you? What makes you special? That's a bait, for an A3 bait. What makes you special? Well, I'm this and that. And you're like, no way. Really? I never knew that about you. Wow, that's incredible. Your first impression sucked. Now that I get to know you, you're incredible. So notice that all these little one-liners that I say, all these routines, they all fit somewhere in one of 9 phases. It's so different for us because our emotional circuitry is hardwired, for health attributes, physicality. For a woman, her attraction circuitry is more honed towards social hierarchy. For good reason, because a man could be fat, but could give her babies a much better chance of survival. The health indicators are not nearly as important as is his social status. So if a woman meets a guy who's already pre-selected by other women, she can save all the time necessary to get to know that person, to find out if he's the type of person who is worthy of her, right? Evolution has, we've actually, through natural selection, we have evolved, or women in particular, have evolved emotional circuitry, attraction circuitry, that will allow her to not have to spend so much time getting to know you, if you have girls on your arms already. So simple. And in the mystery method, we're going to exploit that particular attraction switch.
So, hoop theory. This is something that Mystery came up with and posted. So, this is a metaphor for frame games that happen socially. I might be talking to a person, and she puts up a little hoop, metaphorically speaking, because she wants to see if she can get me to jump into it. It's like a test. So, what do? Do I jump into the hoop? No. Because if I'm constantly jumping into her hoops, then she wins. She has control of the frame. But, and here's a principle, it's okay to jump into her hoop if you make her jump into yours first. Okay? So here's an example of that. A couple nights ago, I was out in a venue running game, and I was running a 2-set. And this girl said something like, what did she say? Oh, no, you know what? I did an impression. I did an impression of something that was funny, and she laughed. So she says, do it again, do it again. Okay? That's a hoop. She's trying to get me to do something. Okay? So if I just did it again, then I've sort of become her little tool. I've become her puppy dog. So instead, I put out a little hoop first, got her to jump into it, and then I did it again. Now it's okay. So what I did was I said, go like this. She went like this. I said, now do a little spin. I made her do a little spin. She giggled. And then I did the impression again, and she giggled again. Okay? It's okay to jump in her hoop if you make her jump into a hoop first. As a general rule, outside of that example, outside of that specific case, you do not want to be jumping around in other people's hoops. Okay, here's another example. Girl says, how old are you? Now, I could say, well, I'm 30, which I am. Or I could say 28, which is what Mystery would say. And I've sort of jumped into her hoop. Now, it's not really a big hoop. It's not like I've just become her little tool and she's got a dog collar on me. She's, how old are you? Well, I'm 30. It's pretty socially reasonable just to answer the question, and you could if you wanted to. But since I'm a player, I'm going to say, guess. And now let's say she's not willing to guess. Let's say she's like, I don't know, whatever. Well, I'm not going to play that game. But if I say guess, and she says, 26. I say, no, actually, I'm 30. Okay? So I say, guess, that's a hoop. She jumps into it. Cool, she jumped into my hoop. Now I'll jump into hers. I'll say, okay, I'm 30. Or lie, I'm 28, or whatever. I would prefer 30, actually, because girls seem to find older men more attractive. The older I tell them that I am, the more they want to hang out with me, it seems like. It's kind of funny. So let's say that I asked her, how old are you? And she said, guess. Now she sort of put it back on me, right? So now what I would say is I'd say, well, you want me to guess high or guess low? She says, guess low. And I say, okay, you're 23. She says, no, actually I'm 25. Okay? I'm just giving you an example. This is an example of frame games going on back and forth. Okay? Now if she says, if I say how old are you and she says guess, I might just say, okay, you're 25. Okay? But understand what I just did. I just jumped into her hoop without making her jump into one. So if she says guess, I'm going to say, well, you want me to guess high or guess low? She says guess low. 23. No, actually I'm 25. Cool. Okay? That's an example of where I always made her jump into a hoop before I jumped into hers.
Okay. When you asked her to guess and she said, I'm not going to do that, where do you go from there?
Basically what's happening there is she is not attracted to me enough to jump into my hoops. If a girl is attracted to you, she will jump into your hoops. If she's not attracted to you, she won't jump into your hoops. And so what that's done is that's communicated to me that she's not attracted to me. Or at least not enough to even jump into a little tiny hoop like guess, which is nothing hardly. So basically what that tells me is I'm still in A2, keep running A2 material, I'm not in A3 yet. Okay? In A2, a lot of the frame control that you do in A2 is just not being tooled by other people. You know, an AMOG comes up and tries to tool you, and you're unaffected. Cool, man, whatever. So anyway, last week, my friends and I were blah, blah, blah. See how he comes in and tries to frame on me, and I'm like just unaffected, and I brush him aside? That generates a lot of attraction. It's very attractive to women to see a guy win this sort of frame game. So it's almost just defensive. It's not being tooled by other people. But in A3, you are actively trying to hoop on other people. You're trying to pull them into your frame. So it's more offensive in A3 than it is in A2.